This is the 8th gate of Kammasaka Zen, known as Samu. This is Dharma talk number 4. And Dharma talk number 4 is about the role of the teachers and the Sangha in the practice of Samu. Samu is a pathway of what we call sacred activity. So Samu, or mindful effort, is a profound aspect in Zen life, grounded in the simplicity of sacred activity. And as the 8th gate of Kammasaka Zen, Samu embodies the commitment to integrate mindfulness into every aspect of our daily lives. So Samu serves as a powerful training ground for dissolving the boundary between the mundane and the sacred. Yet, this journey is rarely undertaken alone. Teachers and the Sangha meaning the community of Buddhists, they play a crucial role in guiding and supporting practitioners as they navigate this path of Samu. And then together, they provide the structure, the wisdom, and also the companionship that makes Samu more than just a mindful labour, but more of a transformative spiritual discipline. The Zen teachers, they are the gatekeepers of the practice, the custodians of the wisdom that's been accumulated over centuries. And in Samu, they hold the responsibility of illuminating the nuances of this mindful effort. So their presence and their guidance, it helps practitioners to stay grounded, especially when facing a repetitive and often challenging nature of Samu tasks. And then it's through their own example that teachers have the ability to demonstrate how each task can be approached, not only with dedication, but also with mindfulness, and to model the depth that Samu can reach, especially when it's infused with sincerity. And in the practice of being of benefit, not only to ourselves, but to others around us. And then the teacher's role extends beyond instructing proper techniques or correcting mistakes. Rather, they encourage practitioners to go beyond the mechanical execution and instead simply approach Samu with a mind free from preconceptions. Now, teachers often emphasize Shoshin, the beginner's mind. The beginner's mind which allows practitioners to engage each task with openness and curiosity. For instance, when a student is assigned a task of, let's say, sweeping, a teacher may remind them to let go of the thoughts of efficiency or personal accomplishment. Instead, focusing on the simple task, or the simple act of the sweeping itself. And it's this guidance that helps practitioners become more present and more attuned to the subtleties of the practice, and transforming even the simplest actions into profound expressions of mindfulness. Another Another essential aspect of the teacher's role in the practice of Samu is providing feedback. Feedback that nudges the practitioner towards greater self-awareness. And Zen teachers are known for their unconventional methods, sometimes using paradoxical statements or koans to try and challenge our students' habitual patterns of thought. And that it's during Samu this approach can take on many forms. A question posed in the midst of raking leaves, an instruction to perform a task in silence, or simply a reminder to pause and breathe deeply. These interventions, they encourage practitioners to observe their own inner resistance, their own inner judgments or attachments, and then ultimately to simply let them go. But perhaps the most crucial gift a teacher provides is the encouragement to persevere, especially when the practice of Samu becomes a bit challenging. So Zen work, it can become physically challenging or demanding or repetitive or maybe even tedious. So teachers guide practitioners to recognise these challenges as an opportunity for growth, moments to deepen their mindfulness and also to practice resilience. So through the teacher's support and insight, practitioners can learn to embrace both the easy and the difficult aspects of Samu. By allowing the practice to penetrate simply deeper into their being. And I think it's while the teacher offers individual guidance, then the Sangha forms the foundation of what we call collective support and a shared purpose. And it's this collective support and shared purpose that can help to sustain Samu. Because the Sangha provides a space where practitioners can witness and learn from each other. They can also create an atmosphere of encouragement and maybe even solidarity. When practiced in community, Samu becomes almost like a shared ritual, an expression of interconnectedness that is central to Zen. So each member contributes to the maintenance of the space, whether it's through cleaning or cooking or other communal tasks. And this embodies the spirit of mutual care and respect. And then, working alongside others, practitioners naturally develop an appreciation for this interdependence, this interconnectedness. And in the act of cooking a meal together, for example, practitioners come to understand that every person's role, no matter how small, it is essential to the whole. And it's this particular realization it fosters a sense of humility, gratitude. And these are qualities that are vital to the practice of Samu. And as practitioners move beyond self-centeredness, they begin to view their efforts as acts of service, not only to their own spiritual growth, but also to the well-being of the entire community. So the Sangha can also provide like a mirror that reflects each practitioner's strengths and weaknesses. And then it's through this practice of Samu that individuals they begin to confront their own importance. They begin to confront their own impatience, their competitiveness, or their desire for egoic recognition. And then within the context of community, these tendencies are often brought to the surface. As each person's actions, it begins to affect the group. And practitioners may find themselves annoyed when working with others working so slowly, or frustrated when their efforts go unnoticed. But these emotions, however, they are a valuable learning experience. So the Sangha, it serves like a container where practitioners can safely examine and let go of these ego-driven responses, thereby deepening their practice of non-attachment and compassion. And in addition, the Sangha creates a rhythm and a structure that anchors the Samu within daily life. Whether it is a sound of a bell marking the start of work, or the quiet unity of shared silence, or the rituals of the community, they provide stability and continuity. And it's this particular structure that helps practitioners approach Samu not as an isolated task, but simply as a part of an ongoing flow of practice that permeates their lives. And then the Sangha's collective energy, it can inspire each member to remain committed, even on those days when motivation tends to wane. And then when practice as a group, Samu becomes a shared journey, one in which each person's efforts uplifts and supports others' efforts. And then both Sangha and teacher, so they both play instrumental roles in helping practitioners to simply face the challenges that may arise during the practice of Samu. Because the demands of Samu, they often reveal deeply ingrained patterns, such as the need to control, or the tendency to judge oneself or to judge others. Very common. Teachers and community members, they provide a support space for practitioners to acknowledge and release these patterns, thereby encouraging the practitioner to approach each task with in a state of openness and equanimity. So, Through this process, Samu becomes a transformative process or practice, but not one that only cultivates mindfulness, but it also fosters qualities such as patience, generosity, resilience. And as the practitioner begins to let go of their habitual responses, they find themselves more capable of engaging with life's difficulties without becoming entangled in them. And it's in this way that Samu served as almost like a microcosm of a larger spiritual journey. It's a practice that prepares individuals to simply meet the challenges of life with grace and presence. And the practice of Samu illuminates the profound interdependence between teacher, sangha, and individual. So the teacher offers wisdom and perspective. The sangha provides community and support. And the individual brings dedication and sincerity. And then together they form a dynamic that enriches and deepens the practice. And it transforms the practice from simple labour into a path of what we call sacred activity. Each aspect of this triad influences and sustains the others. So, maybe without the teacher, the practitioner may struggle to understand the subtle aspects of mindful effort. And then without the sangha, the practice can become isolating or even lacking warmth and vitality that a community can bring. And without the individual commitment, the individual person's commitment, the teacher's guidance and the sangha support would have little or maybe no effect. So in Samu, these three elements, they come together, creating a harmonious whole that it nurtures each individual's path to awakening. So, to conclude, in the practice of Samu, the presence of a teacher and the support of the sangha are invaluable. The teacher provides insight and direction, helping practitioners to approach each task with mindfulness and sincerity. The sangha offers companionship and shared purpose, fostering an environment of mutual care and respect. And together, they create the conditions in which Samu becomes more than just work. It becomes a spiritual discipline that nurtures the qualities of things like humility, patience, and interconnectedness. And then through the guidance of teachers and the support of the sangha, then practitioners, they simply learn to embrace Samu as a path of awakening, a practice that bridges the sacred and the mundane. And then each task, it simply becomes an expression of mindfulness. And practitioners cultivate the ability to meet each moment, and to meet each moment with presence and compassion. So, in this way, Samu reveals its true essence, a path of sacred activity. A path of sacred activity that leads beyond the self, and into what we call the heart of Zen. Thank you for listening today.